Farming Today during Farm Talk is brought to you by Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica Limited, 2E Ashenheim Road, Kingston.
All right, so it's now time for Farming Today with Caribbean Chemicals and Agencies Jamaica Limited. And this morning we are talking orchids. Yes, we are going to be focusing on growing orchids with Caribbean Chemicals this morning. We have joining us Nicheal Dadzie and Rohan Lewis. Nicheal, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Alfie. I'm doing well, trying to stay dry in this wet
Good.
weather.
What has what reports have you been getting, Nicheal, from your farmers in the region? I figure that you'd have been reaching out to them or they're reaching out to you about the impact from Raphael.
I mean, the initial thought was here we go again. Because they have been facing a lot of rains. I mean, they faced Beryl, and then in between Beryl, there were rainy events throughout the time up until this period, and then this is another system that comes across again. So it's gonna be very impactful on our food prices going forward, I believe, because a lot of farmers have reached out to make it say, hey, my fields are flooded, I can't have access to the fields, and a lot of the things are underwater. So
Yes, and
yeah,
coming
so,
so close to Christmas, I know this is going to be problematic for some of them, and of course for us as consumers who will
yeah,
be impacted, possibly impacted. So we hope that it is
definitely.
much better than we are looking on and thinking. We hope that they're not as hard hit. Let me bring Rohan in. Good morning, Rohan. How are you?
Hi, not too bad. Morning out there. Morning to my colleagues that and morning to all our listeners out there in Radio Land.
And how are things in your neck of the woods?
Trust me, it's rough on the northeast side here. Trust me, we have been getting some serious rain. I mean, farmers have not yet recovered fully from Hurricane Beryl, and as Nikhil said, rains in between, and here come now this system this week here. Trust me, it's devastating. Many farmers have reached out to. Fields are flooded, crops are spoiling, especially those who are doing your cucurbits, tomatoes. Trust me, it's devastating.
Wow. Rough. It's a very rough period. Rough period. All right. So gentlemen, we have quite a bit to get through this morning. And so let us get started. Nicheal, I'm going to start with you because I know that Caribbean Chemicals, you actually have an orchid crop care, which I find very interesting because of course, when farmers when we're talking about these kinds of activities and growing, orchids don't immediately come to mind, but there are many orchid growers and generally ornamental plant growers across the length and breadth of the island. So tell us a little bit about the interest that we have in orchids here in Jamaica and what you have in terms of your crop care.
I mean, flowers are considered therapeutic by many individuals, and it's seen as just walking through the forest and observing plants in their blooming field that brings a sense of peace and calm. And it is been used in medicine for healing purposes. So it's not strange for us to see persons so interested in orchids because they bloom so wonderfully here in the tropics. And what we're doing this morning is reminding, you know, our orchid enthusiasts and persons who want to become a part of it, how to maintain healthy orchids in the tropic region. And first step in that is to because you're selecting your orchids, the right species. So we're going to the factors taken into consideration when you're selecting orchids to grow in the tropical region. And species is very important. The type of orchid you select is important. So the Phalaenopsis, the Cattleya, the Dendrobium, and the Vanda are great choices for tropical climates. And we're going to go through the requirements to grow them in this tropical climate because there's a light requirement, temperature and humidity, also water and tips, which most persons get wrong, especially those who are, just being introduced to the growing orchid. They normally get their watering totally wrong. And the growing medium and potting as well is important. And also providing nutrients and air circulation and to go through the SME management. And whenever it's blooming time, how to manage that bloom and to get it stay longer. So, for example, light requirements. Generally, orchids need bright light, but not direct light. So, indirect light. So, full direct sunlight can scorch your leaves and stunt growth and prevent flowering. So, you have to find a spot where it gets bright out in the morning. Like you may get direct light in the morning, and then by the midday sun, it is protected. So, that where is that? Again, your home, maybe on a patio or maybe under a tree. So you don't want it to be, at the direct sunlight, midday sun when it gets really hot. You don't want your artist to be in that direct sun. So that's very important. So we call it like half shade. So the half shade is on your patio. So the sun comes in the morning, and by midday, it is out of there. The temperature and humidity is important. So yeah, maintain humidity of about 50 to 80%. For outdoor orchids, the tropical climate is often sufficient enough, to provide that humidity. Water tips for which is important. Orchids prefer a bit of drying out between watering. And so you can't be watering it like you do regular plants by watering every day. As a matter of fact, a good starting point is to water once per week. And then you can adjust based on the specific needs of the orchid that you're planting and also the seasonal humidity. So don't be going and watering every single day because persons, especially the new persons coming in, they know it's a plant. They know a plant require water. They go in and they start watering every single day.
Uh, and Nicheal, that's a very good point you've made. Excellent point, because generally that is what happens. You get an orchid for a gift and you
Yeah,
overwater it to the point where you kill it.
yeah. I mean, I had an experience. I brought an orchid home and it was on my kitchen counter. And my daughter, she actually killed the orchid by overwatering. She's like, Dad, I saw the plant. It looks dry. It needs water. And she kept watering, and I didn't realize until after the started drying. And I was like, what is going on? When I checked the tray, she watered, and I said, you're responsible for watering. No, she said, I water every day that it looked dry. But I said, I told you not to water once per week. She said, but it looks dry.
And
So
and 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 that is an example of how many of us treat orchids when we get them.
yes, exactly. So we're saying rule of thumb, try once per week, and then you can go from there. So that's a starting point. And then a good growing medium is, most orchids do what we call epiphytes, which means epiphytes are plants that, grow best at other things. They grow air plants. They grow attached to something else. So they do best in loose, well-drained medium. Because as you know, a lot of the roots for orchids are aerial roots actually, and not roots that are, traditional, in soil. And so because of that, charcoal, coconut husk are good options. Using pots with drain holes to avoid root rot. And then, you can refresh that every 1 to 2 years. You refresh the medium to prevent root congestion. And you can also prune those roots as well. For fertilizing, every 2 weeks is a good starting point again, especially during the summer and the spring and the summer because that's the growing season for the orchid. They become a kind of dormant during the cooler time of the year in December, January, February, March. So we call it the dormancy period, which is the fall and the winter period. So you want to reduce the frequency of nutrient application, which is a fertilization during that time. And then, of course, you want to prevent salt buildup from the fertilizer. So you want to flush the medium occasionally to prevent that salt buildup. So once you add the nutrient, you know, maybe let's say every month you want to go through and just run water through that to ensure that you flush that potting medium of any salt buildup. Air circulation again is beneficial to or it's beneficial to any plants really because air circulation prevent the buildup of fungal issue. Outdoor and natural bees are good enough, but indoors you want to have maybe a small fan, especially if you have more than one plant congested in the same area. You want to have that movement of air to prevent the buildup of fungal issue. But of course, if you have fungal issue, we know where to go from there. We can see CCA, as you pointed out earlier. We have a crop care gap. So I'm saying a lot this morning, but actually we have what I'm saying written down as a guide for a person growing orchid, the step by step, kind of feature, what to do, how to do, when to do, and what to look out for in terms of pests and diseases, for example. So we have pests like aphids and spider mites and steel insects, and we have a solution for that, which we'll be talking about this morning. So, good ventilation, do not overwater, and minimize fungal infection, and monitor pests and diseases, and you should be on your way, to encourage blooming. You know, blooming takes place when there's a slight drop in temperature between night and day, about 10 degrees Fahrenheit is often enough to trigger blooming. And so this time of year, especially, you'll get a lot of orchids blooming. And if you give the orchid proper care, you might be able to afford it to bloom more than once for the year, and you can keep the blooms longer whenever they bloom. So, in a nutshell, that for me is basically what you need. Those are the bases to cover when you're taking into consideration growing orchids and how to maintain your orchids as in or around your yard.
Rohan, before we jump into conversation with our orchid growers, let me just come to you to start things off in terms of the pests. Perhaps you can just start us off in terms of the discussion about mites and what is going on there. Rohan, are you hearing me now?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
Rohan?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Right. So just tell us a little bit about issues that orchid growers may have with mites before we get into conversation with our first guest, our
Right,
first
okay. So
testimonial.
right, so just like any other crop, orchids, they are susceptible to insects. So mites can be a very big problem for orchid farmers. So these insects they feed on the plant crop, cause overall wilting and a loss of plant vigor, and they also destroy the flower buds. For most people, the flowering for orchids that is what matters to most orchid farmers. I mean, might actually destroy your flowering buds, and the plants will eventually wilt and die. Now, at Caribbean Chemical, we have a solution to that problem. So you can use a Nicheal, like a half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water, combined with a cure. And this can also be used at half to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water, and that can be rotated with a Pegastar at 2.5 to 3 mLs per gallon of water. So to control the mites, Nicheal combined with cure, and you can rotate with a Pegastar that will give you proper coverage against mite outbreak. Trips. Orchids are susceptible to trips also. So these insects, they scrape the leaf surface to feed, giving rise to scarring. May lead to secondary infection that will result in fungus or bacteria. There again, the plant will lose vigor and aesthetics. So this can be controlled again by using a cure at half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water, and this can be rotated with a Pegastar again, at 2.5 ml to 3 ml per gallon of water. Then we're talking about tail insects now. So these insects,
No, don't move to the scale
the
insects,
most
Rohan. Let us, Rohan, hold on to the scale insects information because we have Miss Wilson online. I want to make sure that I get conversation in with her. Miss Wilson, good morning and welcome. How are you?
I am doing well this morning. Good morning to you, to your listeners, the team from Caribbean Chemicals, and all orchid growers and collectors. Good morning.
Good morning. And I hope you were not impacted by Raphael negatively.
Well, physically, no, but I fear for the orchids. Too much rain is not good for the
Yes.
orchids. This consistent rain, orchids need a time to dry out. So I look and see what has happened when I go outside this morning.
All right. So they don't like to get their feet wet at all. They just want enough, just a little toops of water, not too much water to drown them.
Well, not to drown them. They want a good amount of water, but not to drown
That's
them,
right.
no.
That's right. Oh, how long have you been an orchid grower?
Wow. Well, that all started with my mother, and I kind of got the bug because of her. I started around about 2009, 2010, somewhere there.
That's a good long time you have been in, and you're a member of the Jamaica Orchid Society as well.
I am a member. Yes, I am.
What are the benefits of being a member of the Jamaica Orchid Society?
Well, one of the good things about being a member is that you grow better orchids. We teach our members, and that's critical for us. Our education. We teach our members, and we teach the general public via our social media pages how to grow better orchids, what to look for, what chemicals to use, what problems they're having, and things like that. Um, Joining also, we go on visits. We visit other members' gardens. We go on safaris. We go, all over. We have um, we have um, shows and events, and we have offer discounts, or some of our partners offer discounts on their products to our members.
Excellent. So many benefits to be had as a result of being a member of the society. But let us touch now on working with Caribbean Chemicals, because I understand that in your lineup you have several products from Caribbean Chemicals that you describe as your go-to. Just tell us about what it is that you use and why.
All right, so the full range of the Caribbean Chemicals products they're my go-to. Caribbean Chemicals line. They're my go-to for use on my plants when I'm having problems with pests and diseases. And was it Rohan just now who mentioned a few of them?
Right.
Persons will come to me for guidance, and invariably I am recommending one or more of the Caribbean Chemicals line. So, in keeping pests and diseases at bay, what you need to do is to rotate the chemicals that you use, because the insects and so on will just get familiar and consider it deodorant rather than, being um, repelled. So, one of the things we encourage is that after 3 uses of any particular chemical, you must rotate to use another, and not just another, but what is critical is the active ingredient in it. You must use some other chemical with a different active ingredient, otherwise, you're spraying with the same thing. So, depending on what the issue is or what I'm spraying for, I would use, say, Topsin. Topsin is a fungicide, and a really good fungicide that Caribbean Chemicals carries. So, if I'm spraying, especially now with all this rain, well, fungus, we can get fungus on our plants and a wide range of funguses on our plants. So, you want to spray with fungicides such as Topsin, and if you use it 3 times, then on the fourth time, you're going to use something else. And another thing that I use is the Metazed Gold, which has a different active ingredient. So after three sprays with a particular chemical, change it to another with a different active ingredient. One of the I can tell you some of the main products that I use, the Caribbean
Sure.
Chemicals
And
line.
and perhaps break them down for us. So can you touch on insecticides, miticides, and what you use for slugs? Because I know that's a real problem for orchid growers as well.
Oh, especially during the rain, of course. So, as I mentioned, for fungicides, I use Topsin, the Metazed Gold, or, or the carbendazim, which are systemic fungicides. For insecticides, and this is for the control of, say, thrips or I'm forgetting what it is right now, but I use Protect, I use Cure, I use Caprid, I use Caratrax. If I have any chewing insects, anything chewing on the leaves, I use Danitol. Or if I have no major problem and just want to do a general spraying, I tend to use diazinon. Mites, Ron just spoke about mites, and he mentioned Nizeron or Cure. Those are products that I use in my garden, especially during the dry periods when you see the mites. For slugs, for sure, I use Plant Guard. I think there's another product. I'm not familiar with that product, but I use Plant Guard. It's a liquid, and it's a must for times like now, which is rainy season, and especially it's good if you have pets, because there are pellets on the market slug pellets on the market, which are not good for your pets. In using chemicals, what is critical, and that's again, especially now in the rainy time, are the stickers, and that's what keeps the chemicals on the plants for a while. So things like general spreader sticker, I use the new film, which is oil-based, or breakthrough, which is translaminar, meaning it cuts. You spray it on top of the leaf, it pulls the chemicals through the cells of the leaf or cells of the plant, so it's translaminar. So those are the main products that I use for fungicides, insecticides, miticides for slugs, and of course your spreader sticker, which is critical.
All right. And of course, nutrition for the plants, that is also important. What do you use from the line for that?
Oh, I use those the Miller line. The Miller line of products, these are biostimulants, and I started using that maybe 2 or so years ago on the recommendation of another major orchid grower here in Jamaica. And what I use are the Nutrient Express, the Sugar Express, the Solid Grow, and the Cytokine, especially those, because when you want to give your plants a little boost, give them a little vim, vigor, and vitality, the Nutrient Express, the Sugar Express are really good for that. They provide good growth, they enhance your color and give you more larger, more robust blooms. And as Rohan said, that is critical to us as orchid growers. We want those
Definitely.
blooms. Solid Grow
Of
is
course,
good.
because that
Solid Grow
we,
I
we
find to be good for root development, and the cytokine, especially when there is stress, and especially during summer months, I will use a cytokine, or when I have bare root plants, or for some reason or the other, I have plants in my quote-unquote ICU, I use a cytokine just to give them a little boost. So those products from the Miller line are what I use.
All right. Thank you so very much. Before you leave us, you have the fall show coming up, the Orchid Fall Show. Quickly tell us where that is going to be.
The 2024 Orchid Show Fall Sale will be at Hope Gardens in the car park by the Shell Bandstand. Entrance would be via Gibson Close in Hope Pasture, so you wouldn't be going through the old Hope Road entrance. So it's this weekend, November 9th and 10th, 9 to 5 a.m. And we're hoping we'll have sunshine and we'll have a good day, good weekend.
So that's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
On both days, yes.
On both days. All right. Thank you so very much. And all the best to you and to the other members of the Jamaica Orchid Society as you not only continue to share your love of orchids, but the beauty that comes from orchids, and to encourage more of us to become orchid growers as well. And I do hope you have a bumper crowd at this weekend's event.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. And thank you to all your listeners.
All right. Take care. And of course, we're discussing orchids this morning, and we just had a robust conversation there with Opal Wilson. Let me get back to you, Rohan, ahead of the break. I know that you're anxious to talk to us about the scale insects, so let us jump right to that.
All right, so for scale insects now, they form a mass on the leaves and the stem area where they feed and the plant sap. So, they are generally accompanied by ants and sooty mold. So what eventually happens, the plant will lose its vigor. And, you understand, the plant will actually, dice this black substance on the plant and it's laden with ants. I mean, you don't want that. So, this can be cured with, caprid. You can use a caprid at a half to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water, and the same you can rotate with a cure at half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. Then we're talking about for aphids and our white flies. So, these are sucking, piercing insects that they feed on the undersides of the leaf. The plant will eventually, lose its vigor, and aesthetics, viruses will be transmitted to orchids just like any other vegetable crop. So this can be cured with, again, caprid at 2.5 to 5 ml, which is half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. This can be rotated with a protect at the same half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. and
All
really
right,
good.
thank you.
Let us not
We're
forget
on the break, so
on
let
the
me
break.
just
Okay.
clear that, Rohan. And then when we come back, we are going to be joined by Ione Gordon Grant, and we'll also hear from Sean Bula. And then we'll take some more information about these insects and the challenges that we might face growing our orchids. And then I know that you have quite a bit of activity ahead of you. So, Nicheal, stand by to tell us about that whole lot of activities that you have coming up. Let's take the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
6:45.
Mas Bertie, how your pepper and tomato feel a shine so like morning star?
Wait, then you not hear about the new mighty side name Pegastar from Caribbean Chemicals? I hit me use, man. And from me start use it, boy, the results is so tremendous.
Make me go grab a bottle of Pegastar up at the farm store there.
Star up your field with Pegastar, Mighty-Side Insecticide, 2-in-1. Be safe. Read the label. Wear your PPE. Pegastar, distributed by Caribbean Chemicals and available at farm stores island-wide.
In case of an earthquake and the place starts shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake. Case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
All right, so we're trying to see how quickly we can get through the rest of the information that we have to share with you. I know that generally for this feature we have quite a bit. We're not going to be able to take all of it, but let us now introduce the conversation. Ione Gordon Grant out of Orchid, St. Anne. Mrs. Grant, good morning and welcome to the show. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. And how are things over there in Orchid, St. Anne?
The rain ceased a little now. It seems cloudy, but it seems like we can do some things today. And after the heavy rain, our orchids were being flushed from their nutrients.
Yes.
So I'm actually in the process of spraying nutrients on them.
Good. So you have to take care of them. And you're actually, not only are you an orchid lover, but you are into the ornamental orchid business. How long have you been at it?
I've been growing for myself for approximately 10 years, and then I started in about 2020 to do otherwise.
Okay. And of course, it's so interesting because COVID-19 brought a lot of challenges, but also brought a lot of business opportunities. And clearly, you realized that and jumped in. Let me ask you though, you're a strong orchid lover, but I also hear that a lover of CCJ products as well. Tell me what you use and why.
I use mainly the Nutrient Express Cycle Green Stem. I started off by using the Bio 20 with the Cycle and Green Stem because I was told, I went to the booth sometimes, the first show that they have in Richmond, St. Anne, and I was looking for some water soluble fertilizer. And I was introduced and I got a calendar and I came home with some products and started experimenting. And I noticed the result that I was getting was optimal. I started having some robust roots and giant blooms and everything started catapulting out. And I was saying, wow. I started it when friends, orchid lovers, one visiting the other, visiting friends and, showing off what you have and others. So I introduced that product. And my friends start getting in on it, and I even start buying the product and for who could not access it, and give them so they would use the product and sell them back for them to use the product to get the same result as I was getting. Seeing it was so good, I could not have kept it to myself. So we are having some good results from these products that we use, especially, for instance, when it comes to Nutrient Express and you mix it with the cytokine green stem for stress, it's like it gives you something else. And when you have a
a magic potion.
Yes. When you have a healthy plant, you might have pest in minority, but you don't have fungus going on because a lot of rain fell and we might have a little thing. But honestly, I don't have fungus like, a plant that is less undernourished or something would have, because I use this and it lasts. And I would do a light portion like weekly. When I said weekly, a light portion. If it says half teaspoon, I use a quarter to a gallon, because I don't start from the high portion. I use a light mixture and see what the result is. If the plant can take a stronger portion, then I'll step up. But I tried my best and I get my result. I've experimented a lot and I've got a lot of experimental results.
So clearly, the products are excellent. I have to leave it there, but thank you so very much, Mrs. Grant.
Thank you too for having me.
All right, take care. Rohan, I wanted to jump back in, but just mention the other products, and of course, just tell us how much of the products that they should use. And here it is that I'm talking about now, the products for the pests and diseases.
Right. So, as I said before, mealybugs.
Well, just for the pests, and then I'll go to Nicheal for the diseases.
Okay, yeah, man. So mealybugs, so these are very small insects, and you find them especially on the root, rhizome, the pseudostem buds, and the underside of the leaves. They we suck the stuff from the plants again, and these can lead to, secondary infections, and the plants will get sticky and it will attract ants, and you're talking about sooty mold, so that you don't want that. So you can be controlled again by capturing at 2.5 to 1 teaspoons per gallon of water. It can be also rotated with protect at the same 2.5 to 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. And then, as I mentioned, in this time of year, slugs, snails, trust me, they are out there like a honey in this wet time. So you can use our snail liquid and our new product on the market, which is a slug bee, which they can be mixed with flour, it can be mixed with cornmeal, it can be mixed with chicken feed or pig feed, and we use like a tablespoon per pound of any one of these mixture. And you can use it and make a paste, or you can just make some little balls, you can splash them. I want to hear that you have the orchids. Trust me, this time of year when you have a lot of rain, trust me, slug bee, you need to move the slug bee.
I know, because I've already seen some slugs moving around among my plants, so I know that it's a difficult period when you have rainfall. Let me bring Nicheal back in. Nicheal, you can only mention the diseases and what it is that you use for them, because we're fast running out of time, and I know you have a long, lengthy list this morning of activities.
Yes. So Miss Wilson, in her speech, so eloquent in going through our list of products that we have. So if you have leaf spot, black rot, Pythium black rot, root rot, we have the topsin, we have carbendazim, we have Betased Gold, we have some new fungicides which will be introduced at the show come this weekend to control those diseases that might affect, especially during this rainy time when you have high humidity and a lot of rainfall. You will come under some pressure in terms of fungal pressure. I just want to also add to that, because she mentioned all our products really in our, fertilizer line, the Green Stem, Cytokine, Nutrient Express, Sugar Express. We want to also use this opportunity we have another line that we'll be introducing to our farmers, and that's the Agasol line, and that's our Agaleaf. We have our Root Max, our Floor Max, and we will be introducing this as well at the show come on Saturday. So we're giving our orchid lovers or orchid enthusiasts another option. Very good product, just the same quality that we are known for at Caribbean Chemicals. And we want to also, put that out there to our farmers that there's another option to be used as well that has the same good results.
All right. And you notice I'm stopping you. So, because we're fast running out of time and I have Sean Bula online. Good morning and welcome to the show. How are you?
Morning. Thank you for being here.
And we're happy to have you on with us. Tell us what products you use in the line from Caribbean Chemicals for your orchids.
Okay, I use Solgo, Kickstart, Green Stem, Cypoplex, Psychotic, and Nutrition Express.
All right. Nutrient Express. And of course, you have been getting excellent results, I hear, as a result of the use of these products.
Yes, I do. I get bigger blooms, bigger stems, root advance more. So I've been using it.
And at some other point in time, we're going to have to bring you back to talk a little bit more about your experience. But suffice it to say, you have been doing very well as a result of the use of these products.
Yes, I am.
All right. I have to leave it there, but thanks much.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care. And Nicheal, quickly, because you know you have about a minute and a half to go through this long list that you have. So walk us through it very quickly.
Okay, so we were supposed to have trainings today, and those are postponed. We were supposed to be doing Gungu piece production in Crofties, Church of God across in Manchester. We wanted to let our farmers know that has been postponed so they can look out for a new date. Also, we were supposed to be in Water Mountain catching today with myself, doing a training at Yam Ross, and so that is also postponed. They look out for a new date for that. But tomorrow, we're back on it again on Thursday, November 7th. We will be in Brayhead, Clarendon with Mr. Price and Mr. Parker, and they'll be doing banana borer and nematode control training. So you can, and that's at 10 a.m. We will also be doing Irish potato crop care guide training down there in Knoxfield, St. Mary. That's with Rohan Lewis, and that begins at 10 a.m. as well. So on Saturday and Sunday, we will be at the Orchid Society fall sale. So you can come up and you can come and interact with our booth. We will be there on both days. And the CCJ team will be out in full, and you can come and support. And we've got products for sale, as mentioned by Ms. Wilson earlier. On November 11th, there's a farmer training, general crop production and on-sale banana ground in Manchester. Again, that's 10 a.m. And that's with Mr. Parker, Mr. Price there. And in Westmoreland at Reeds Mountain ECI School, Irish potato production. And that's with Denver Green, 1 p.m. on Tuesday, November 12th. And on that same day, we will also be in Trelawney at 4 p.m. with Lees and Barrett also doing an Irish potato training there in Spring Garden, Trelawney. And then next week, Wednesday, November 13th, we will be in Guysdale, St. Catherine. We will be doing our Irish potato production training with myself and Rohan.
So well, you're all clearly very busy. We will hear more about some of these activities as we go on. Gentlemen, I have to leave it there entirely out of time. We really pushed it down to the wire this morning. Thank you both for this morning.
Thank you very much, Joel. You have a good rest of the day. Stay dry.
All right. You too. All right. So you can reach out to Caribbean Chemicals, WhatsApp 876-401-4766. And they're on social media at CaribChem Jam, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. A quick word from them, and then we're wrapping the show and getting out of here.